Okay, so hello everyone. We are ready to go. It's 9:05. Hopefully, I've given everyone enough time to get into class. As I can say, I hope everyone is doing well. I hope your week has just flown by already, and even though it's a Monday. But we're gonna get started. Um, and get this show on the road. So if you want to ask questions, if you're logged in from your Google side, you can actually ask questions. There is a Q&A component of Google Hangouts, which I truly love. And, if you're someone who's looking to do any kind of, online class, online, e-class, webinar, whatever it may be, I love that it does have, some great, capabilities as far as Google. They're definitely expanding. We're going to talk about Google, and I know some people had some great questions, so I'm going to make sure that towards the end, we're going to have a time for you guys just to submit your questions, and so we're going to make sure, I'm seeing some people who have some comments, so I want to make sure I just address everyone. Hold on one quick second, guys. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna get started. Okay, so I'm gonna show my face. Hopefully you guys can see me. So you guys can stop the screen sharing. Okay, there we go. Hey guys. I hope you guys are having a great Monday. So I'm going to okay, I think everything is good. So we're just going to get started. So we have to go through all of these wonderful things. I'm just really excited, of course, that you guys decided just to RSVP for this. This is just this free e-class. I'm going to try to break down as much as I can in a short amount of time. I don't want to keep you all night, but I do want to make sure that you have the right skills, the right tools, just to move forward or even to start. I know a lot of people, when they submitted their RSVPs, they hadn't really solidified their concept for their business yet. They just kind of just wanted some information, which is great. If you're looking to rebrand, if you're looking to kind of, put yourself back out there, your company, your brand personal, whether you're an author, writer, speaker, whatever it may be, a blogger, social media is it. It is the new kid on the block. And it has been for a couple years. So this isn't anything new, but there are some new tricks, some new applications, some new tools, and I'm going to try to share with you as much as I can. Of course, I can't go over everything, but I am going to try to make sure that you guys have a solid foundation. Of course, Gigi Creates. I'm all about God. So we are going to pray before we get started. So God, Heavenly Father, we just come to you. We just want to say thank you for this e-class. We want to thank you for the people who are tuning in, and for those that are on their way, on their computers or laptops or phones, whatever it may be. We just ask that you would help us with our businesses, with our ideas, our brands, our concepts. We know that based upon Genesis 1, that you are the original creator. You are the one that gives us these ideas, and we know that we can't do anything without you. So we just ask that you would have your way in our businesses and our ideas and our nonprofits and our different companies and our different ventures. Oh God, just have your way and just show us what we need to do and how we need to do it, and be our ears, be our eyes, and be our feet. Help us and guide us and move us and shake us and do whatever you have to do, Lord God, because we want to make an impact on this world through our businesses, Lord God. We don't want to be a regular type business, a regular type author, regular type speaker. God, we want to be something that is just truly able to shake the world and just to show that there are amazing people out here, oh God, who are doing amazing things, and it's all because of you. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Okay, so let's get started. I have some bullet points we're going to go over. A lot of the questions, too, that I received leaned heavily more on hashtags, good content, which, of course, is really the big chunk of what I'm going to be talking about tonight. And so I'm going to steps first. I don't want to, just kind of go from each question to question, but I do want to go through the beginning to kind of like basically, okay, choosing platforms, and they're going to get into creating the content. They're going to get into managing the content. They're going to go into analyzing and having strategy in the content. And at the very end, we're going to go into more of, we had some questions about SEO. We have some questions about just how to really get that ROI. A lot of people talk about, return on investment. How do I know if it's actually worth all the work that I'm doing, which is very important. You don't want to be that kind of person that posts all this content. You don't even know whether it's working or not. You should see results. And I guarantee you that if you do some of the things that I'm telling you tonight, you're going to get some great results. Okay, so I want us to look at a few things though before we even get into choosing, the right platform. A lot of people say, okay, well, how do I know? I'm a beginner. I'm not really, the most graphic, guru. How do I know really what to do? I need help. Then there are some of you who, you've been in this before. You kind of already know what you want to do. You're just kind of looking for some new tools, some new things just to use. And so we're going to go over a few things. And this definitely is going to kind of set the platform for what we want to do. I want to kind of go over the social media breakdown, the different platforms. And I have some amazing people that have broken it down for us, and just some great quotes. So as we get started again, and hopefully you have your pen and your paper, hopefully. So we're going to go right into it, okay? And again, if you have any questions, you can text me. This is the number I'm going to provide for you guys. It is, hopefully you have a pen and paper. If you have any additional questions, you can send them to 302-287-0909. Again, that's 302-287-0909. I am going to put it in the bottom box so that you guys can see it, okay? So, but the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to this slideshow because I want us to get really into it. Okay, so the first quote I want to start off from is from Chris Brogan, who I absolutely love. One of the things that I tell people all the time, we're just going to use a few slides, okay? I'm not going to go content heavy as far as the slides. But one of the things that I love about Chris Brogan is that this quote really helps me. And it's something that I actually have on my new vision board that I created. It says, don't settle. So it says, don't settle. Don't finish crappy books. If you don't like the menu, leave the restaurant. If you're not on the right path, get off of it. And this is really, it was really spoke to me when I decided to do some, different ventures that I'm doing now. The way that I was doing it, I didn't like it. The way that I was doing my social media and my platforms, I didn't like it. So I changed it. And so one of the things that I tell when it comes to social media, and I tell people all the time, don't go with what you've been doing now. If you know that, you're not getting the likes, you're not getting the responses, you're not getting the engagement, don't just sit there and keep on posting the same content. Matter of fact, tonight, if you look at your content and say, you know what, I don't like it. Tomorrow, don't post 20 quotes tomorrow. Just don't do it. We're going to talk about that as well. The next quote is from Bonnie Sainsbury, which I love. Well, these are all people that you should definitely look up. Amazing social media gurus, amazing marketing people. And so this is what Bonnie Sainsbury said. She said that social media will help you build up loyalty of your current customers to the point that they will willingly and for free tell others about you. And of course, one of my favorite marketing social media guys. I mean, this guy I'm addicted to. His name is Gary Vaynerchuk. And if you haven't heard about Gary Vaynerchuk, you need to Google him, read his books. My favorite book by him, of course, lately is The Thank You Economy. And of course, the one that I'm on that I'm going to suggest to you is The Jab, 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 Right Hook. This guy says that use every customer point of contact to weave stories about who you are and what your brand stands for. Okay, and then of course, Laura Fitton says, everyone starts out with nobody listening to them and nobody to listen to. How and who you add determines what Twitter will become for you. This is definitely going to be pivotal when we get to Twitter. But the first thing I want us to do is go into a social media breakdown. This is very important for a lot of people. When you attempt social media, the first key, this is the first point, is finding the right platform. This is essential. Finding the right platform. I cannot tell people enough on how bad it is to be spread so thin to where, you have, you're on almost every social media site, but there's no consistency. There's no, there's no point to where, okay, this person hasn't posted for like 20 weeks. You have to make sure that you're picking places where you can be consistent, but most importantly, that fit where and where you're trying to reach, who you're trying to reach, and how. So as far as the different platforms, this is a breakdown by Melissa Weeder, which I love her so much. She's really, I'm telling you, she's amazing. She's in marketing, she's in social media. Of course, now she's branching off the social media consulting company, Melissa Weeder. So I would definitely have you guys look her up. Look these people up. They're great. But her breakdown is really good. So she said that for Pinterest, if you're a business to consumer company that sells products or services that appeal to women, that is a really great breakdown, because if you look at Pinterest, the majority of people that are on there definitely are women. Of course, we do see other genders and other different types of clients. However, we're definitely looking at women when it comes to Pinterest. Women, they plan their weddings on Pinterest. I plan my events on Pinterest. Pinterest is definitely that company. So if you do have that appeal to women, we're going to talk about even apps to help you build good pins, or how you can build better pins at that. And then for Twitter, your target market is predominantly United States and likes to consume information on the go in 140 characters, of course, or less. Twitter is also becoming visual. In the past, I would say the past year, there are studies that prove this. Of course, with tweets, we know how lately, or in the previous, Twitter has become all about the tweets. However, if you have viewed, or even, if you're a regular Twitter user, actually Twitter has become more visual now with the new platform, with the new way that it's become designed. Its focus is really on graphics more, say. It is about the tweets, but now the visual effect is definitely starting to come in. So now it's less about, your tweets, but now, it's to tweet, put in some graphics as well. Don't become just a tweeter. Put in some cool graphics, infographics. This is definitely becoming a platform as well that's not just for the words, but also for the content and the graphics as well. Okay, Facebook, with 1 billion active users, she said, I'd say just get on it and give it a try. One thing that I would say for Facebook as well is that you kind of have to know who you're trying to appeal to. Nowadays, a lot of people, they go with the Facebook pages, and then they kind of get started. But it's really important. I know some clients, they don't have Facebook pages. They have Twitter. Or they have just Instagram. Or they have Facebook and Twitter. I think that Facebook pages are great. What you also have to know is that the current update with Facebook is that they don't allow you to have just a page. In the past, you didn't have to have a personal profile to have a page. Now you actually have to create a personal profile and then create a page, which actually it really isn't that much extra of a hustle. But some people, they're like, wait, why do I have to create an extra profile? What happens to me just having, a page? But I think that Facebook definitely is great. It definitely gives you a way to connect with people on different levels. However, a lot of younger people are definitely drifting over to Instagram. So if you're trying to hit more of the, I would say the teenage to middle, really teenage to young adult, I would try to stick with like Instagram or Twitter. Facebook is becoming more and more of a place, you see a lot of Facebook ads that are definitely working for a lot of different type of clients, but I would say definitely Instagram and Twitter if you're looking for, more of the younger crowd. The older crowd, young adult and up, kind of middle age, like, I would say like 35 and up, you see a lot of them kind of drifting, to Facebook and to Twitter. So it just depends on who you're trying to reach. Instagram is good for showing a more personal and or fun side of your company. Even if you have visually appealing product photos, you're going to have other visual appealing photos to supplement your Instagram strategy, which is very true. Google Plus, a great platform for engaging with niche groups of people. If you have a product or service that has multiple audiences, Google Circles tool is a great way to tailor the content you share to that audience. Google Plus is a platform that I see not that many people drawing to lately, but it's becoming hot. I mean, like, that's the one thing you have to understand. A lot of people, it takes them a while to really drift to, but I think Google Plus, I think that, with the idea of Google trying to create their own kind of social network, this is definitely a platform that not everyone is on. You see a lot of more, you don't see like regular regular everyday people on it. You see more of the business clientele and different types of people. And I think it's actually a great place to spread your products out, to also meet people who are from the same I would say category that you are. So, let's say you're a natural hair products, or, you're marketing or PR, or, you're in ministry. There are a lot of different people that are on Google Plus that actually like post content, and, that are on there on a regular basis. So I think it's also a great platform. The last one is one that I'm actually spending a little bit more time on, which is LinkedIn. It's a great place to connect with others in your industry. If you're a B2B company, business to business, I do some searching. If there are groups that are dedicated to your industry, I would definitely get on this platform. LinkedIn is also a place for sharing more in-depth content. Please know that LinkedIn, I saw this quote and I thought it was hilarious and perfect. LinkedIn is not Facebook. LinkedIn is really for the professional types to connect, for you to share, your updates, things are going on in your business, great articles and things like that. So just kind of know what platforms are really important for you to connect on. Again, you don't have to be on every platform. You don't have to spread yourself so thin. I tell people this all the time. You're going to break your back trying to keep everything updated, okay? Unless you have a team that is dedicated and that you feel also is necessary for you to be on all of those platforms. But if you are, if you don't see yourself, like, hey, I don't think I can do it, then don't do it. Do not overcommit yourself to platforms that you think that you cannot also post consistently, okay? So let's move on. The next thing when it comes to finding the right platform is also, like I said before, it's, thinking about, who you're trying to reach, of course, the consistency, and also knowing how to work it. And so that's what we're going to transition to. You have to know how to create content. And a lot of people ask me, how do I create good content? How do I get people to, like my stuff? How do I get people to start talking? And this is where we get into the good stuff. This is where we're going to get into the good facts and, things like that. So before you create your social media page, something that's really crucial. I'm going to talk about some of the apps that I use and a lot of stuff. But before you create your page, so whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is, have your content ready. Do not be the type of person that creates, your stuff and just says, oh, it's coming, and you have nothing planned. You're just kind of like, okay, well, next week I'll post it for this week, and next week I'll post it for that week. Have prepared content. Now that can seem a little challenging, because you want to get stuff up, just, you're so gung-ho, but don't get so gung-ho on your social media accounts that it starts to become dry, like you get a post and like a couple days pass and then it's like another post because, your life is so busy. A lot of you guys, you have other businesses, you have, full-time jobs. But if this is your focus, you have to really sacrifice. And that's one of the things that's happening with me. I'm starting to see how much I have to actually sacrifice to make sure that these things are productive. But there are tricks, and we're going to talk about that. So as far as when it comes to social media content, I think that the one thing that I always pointed here was that any content is better than any content is better than none at all. No, that's not true. I have seen some horrible, I can't even say horrible, like with extra R's and B's and L's and E's and everywhere. Just horrible pages because it was scattered. It was not branded. So I didn't know whose page I was on. I mean, it could be anybody's page, which is really bad. When you are getting ready to create your content for your social media page, don't just say, oh, I'm going to post today. Well, we just created the page. I'm going to post now. And tomorrow, okay, I'll post something else. And I just kind of post whatever comes. And I like this quote, screenshot, okay, post it. It's not like, it doesn't work like that. You have to really make sure that when it comes to social media, you're not thinking like the everyday scroller. You're not like, oh, come to social media, just scroll, or hey, I'm on Facebook, scroll, just kind of like, just doing whatever. You have to have a strategy. So before you even create your before you even, put up your accounts, get that content ready. So get your Facebook banners, get your Twitter banners, get your headers customized, get everything customized so that when people come to those pages, they're like, okay, I know that this is their stuff. This is not like where 90% of their content are reposts. That's horrible. So here is the other thing too. I know that for some people, I know that, let me make sure that I send this out. Some people are having a hard time getting to the class, guys. Hold on. So let me take a quick second just to make sure that everyone can get in. So one of the things too, I think that some people have a really hard really hard problem with too, is the idea that of the repost. So we're going to talk about the no of a repost. When it comes to content, there are content management and just doing your thing with social media. It's great to repost. Let me first say that. It's great to repost. Just don't let that be the majority of your content, because think about it like this. If all my content is mainly reposting other people's stuff, what makes it your account? I mean, that means that I might as well just go to all the other people that you repost and just follow them for their content. Why should I be on your page? And so you have to make sure that you can answer those kind of questions. This kind of goes back to who you are as a brand. If you are, if your job is to serve women, or if your job is to serve men, or men and women, or men, women, and children, whatever it may be, why do you do what you do? What is special about what you do? What do you offer that makes you so special? You have to communicate that in your Instagram, and your Facebook, and your Twitter, and your Pinterest, all these different accounts, if those are the accounts that you're on, because people have to feel like that when they come to your account, or when I go on their page, you know what, this is theirs. Like, I know this is their content. I don't, this is their content. Or, even if they see a couple reposts, you kind of still know that that's them. And so how do you do that? One of the things you have to do is brand your posts. And I know some people that say, okay, well, how do I do that? What do you mean? One of the things, of course, that I'm guessing that everyone, if you're doing this, of course, you have a logo by now. You should have a logo, a tagline, and also with your branding, you should have your common colors, your fonts that you've picked. These are very important in branding. So, I'm gonna assume, but if you don't, you make sure that your logo placement is essential when it comes to your, different social media accounts. I was reviewing someone's Twitter account, and they barely mentioned themselves. They barely mentioned their products. They were just kind of, tweeting about, or they oversaturated their accounts to where 90% of their content was just marketing. That drives people away. It is impossible. It is impossible to really have that return on ROI, which we're going to talk about much later, on that investment, on all these people that you're trying to gain, because it's going to scare them away. They're going to feel like they're coming to a billboard. They're basically like looking at an ad page. It's just full of ads. That drives people away. It also drives people away where they just see nothing but quotes. Why am I following you if you're a business page and you have a whole bunch of quotes? So you just have to really make sure that you diversify. There's nothing wrong with quotes, but diversifying your content is essential. You can't be that kind of place or page, or even, different type of account, Facebook account, where it's just always sharing other people's stuff. Where's your content? Where are your blog posts? Where are your interviews? Where's your video content? That's really important. So again, good content. So what else are no-nos? Blurry and pixelated pictures. This is stuff I just really hate. If you're going to repost something, make sure it's a good repost. Don't make sure it's some pixelated, just horrible. Just, you have to think about the quality of what you do. If what you do is important to you, then what you put out should be important to you as well. Don't cheapen the experience for other people just because you want to be lazy. You really have to make sure that what you're doing is important to you. So that's even for myself, of course, I view my Gigi Creates page as great. But one of the things I really wanted to do was show you guys how to really create a good page. And so I cleared all of my posts. It was like 280 something. Took me a little bit, but I cleared them all. And my goal is that as you follow me on Instagram, that's just one example of what you can do, is that you can begin to build a really, really good page. And so one of the things I was going to say is, as we go forward, is that what is the good ratio, or what's that percentage content for you? And so what I would say is this. When you post, like I said before, you post your ads 24/7, that's a no-no. That's going to detract customers. But there should be some kind of ratio. Now, a lot of times these things are kind of hits and misses, to be honest. When it comes to social media, people say, oh, well, these are the steps you should take. I'm kind of giving you tips. I'm not saying that, it's going to happen overnight. It will happen. It's not going to happen overnight. But there are some kind of like general basics for you to follow. And that's this. So this is kind of like my ratio. And you can kind of bend it a little bit, but not too much. Okay, here's my ratio. 20 to 40% should be marketing graphics that are marketing graphics, marketing information. This is on any platform. Okay. So if I say 20 to 40, I would lean towards more 20 to 30, but 20, that's kind of a good field. 20 to 40. Okay. Some people say 10%. I think it should be a little bit more. So I say 20 to 30, 40. I say this kind of stretches. So it's really 20 to 30 should be like your, like, in other words, we're having a sale on this. We're having a sale on that. That's really important. And then I would say out of that, the 50%, so again, I'm kind of doing 20 to 40, okay? But then at least 50%, at least half of the content should be branded material from you with tips, with encouraging posts, with questions. And we're actually going to get into this, which is really good, into questions, into different types of things for interaction posts. So that's what 50% should be interaction material or repost type content. So quotes, things that people can repost and just kind of get with their everyday, how people are. You find something really good, to repost and they, just screenshot it and keep on going. Nothing too clouded. You don't want to create posts. There's just so much information that people don't want to repost, and I'm going to get into that. Things that will help your content be repostable, because that's very important. Okay, so that's kind of the strategy I would have. And then, of course, the 10% can be, of course, the repost of 10-20, kind of like repost of your own content. So repost of other people's content, okay? So reposting other people's content is completely fine. Great. It's a way to, and then even when you repost people's content, try to repost people's content to, that you can kind of tag them in, like, hey, repost from blah, blah. That'll kind of give also recognition to who you just re-tag from. And hey, hopefully get you a new follower as well, that person that you tag. Try to get good people too as well. Don't just get like, some girl, that you, or, a guy that, just, hey, repost from, a fly boy 2567, try to, repost people's content that, these are credible people that, have a great following as well, that they can draw into your crowd as well. So be strategic with that. Of course, social media does not replace a website. Okay, so as we're talking about creating this content, that is one of these ding dings that I like to say, which is that social media is not your website. So, if you're one of those people that are looking to kind of like do what you do on your website, on Instagram or on Facebook or on Twitter, that's not the place. You want to always drive people to your website, to whatever you're doing, to your blog, to your store, whatever it is, but never just to your page, okay? Because let's say Instagram or Twitter isn't the hot thing, it's going to be something else. So we're just, again, these are just places for you to use, okay? Also, let's get into actually creating the content. Where do I create this information? Where do I create my graphics? The first thing, of course, I'm going to suggest as a graphic artist is Photoshop. Photoshop, Adobe Creative Cloud, it has so many different apps that you can use. Of course, now it's coming to be more of a service-based, of a cloud-based service. So that's one of the cons I would say that I really have to Adobe Photoshop right now is that, if you can, when it comes to Adobe Photoshop, I just really hate how it's on a cloud service. This is really their way of trying to really make more money. In the past, you could just buy the whole thing for one price, and just kind of the way that people are making money now. Now it's a per month charge or a per year charge, and you don't get to keep it. It's not really yours. It's theirs still, even though I'm paying for it. It's like a lease. It's like a rent, it's like an apartment. Basically, you're never going to be able to buy the thing. You're just going to be able to rent it. So if you can, try to see, if you have a computer that can run the box version, try to get that so that can save you money. But for a lot of people, you have to understand that Adobe Creative Cloud has a steep learning curve, especially if you're trying to use Photoshop. It's not something that you'll be able to pick up overnight. No, you're going to need to take a couple classes. You're going to, so especially if you have a lot of things going on, if you can hire a graphic designer, that's going to be a plus. But for most people starting out, or for people who just can't afford it, you don't want to do that. So there is a free option, which is GIMP. GIMP is a free version of Photoshop. I have it on my computer as well. It is like Photoshop. It does have some differences. One of the cons is that there are some of the different vectorizations, and so there's just different things in there that they don't work just as Adobe Photoshop was, like smart objects and things like that. It can open up similar files, but it also has a learning curve, so you just kind of have to really, okay. Now, what about beginners tools? This is for people who are saying, I really don't want to go in 5 hours to learn how something works. I want to get into something where I can just click, drag, type in text, kind of move around with it and get me out. So my number one advice #1 tool that I am so like adamant about, like so like this was definitely a game changer in beginners tools for graphic design. Canva. If you haven't heard of Canva, you are missing out. C-A-N-V-A. Sorry, C-A-N-V-A. Canva. So Canva is, wow, it is God's gift to beginner graphic people. And I don't mean graphic artists, because one of my rules is that, especially when it comes to graphic design, things like that, if you know how to do it custom, do it custom. But if you need help, Canva is your go-to. Canva is free. Okay, that's a great thing. It's free, but it also offers amazing templates for you to use. Okay, so Canva offers amazing templates for you to use, and they offer great fonts. I mean, and you just got to go on there. The great thing about Canva too is that when you go on there, the first thing it asks you is, hey, what are you designing? So they already have pre-made sizing for Facebook ads, Facebook posts. They have it for social media, Instagram size, so that's already in the square size. They have them ready for Google Plus ads. I mean, everything from blogger, to real estate flyers, to Christmas cards. I mean, everything that you can pretty much think about that you would need for social media, they have them. If you want to send out an e-blast and you want a really cool kind of flyer promo, you can do that. You could upload photos. I mean, this thing is amazing. And so if I were you tonight, go fool around with Canva, okay? You want to go fool around with Canva and just kind of see what you can create. Now, one thing is that this week, each week, and even kind of coming up next year, because I have a huge announcement to make coming into next year, and it's going to be awesome. But even as I, get ready to go into January, one of the biggest things I really want to do is help people. Get good even in the basics. And so I'm going to be kind of creating assignments for you to use even in Canva, for you to kind of get used to how to create in Canva. The one thing too about Canva is that you got to watch is that when you choose the templates in Canva, it uses images that you have to pay $1 for. So the way Canva is, you can use their images, but they cost $1. The way I am, I try to save money, so I will use my own images. But one of the things is that if you try to download, like let's say all I edit is the text from the template, they probably have used their own images. Their own images in there. So it's going to say like, hey, can't download because you have to pay $1. So make sure that you always remove those like extra features like the photos that they've added and just replace with your own photos. And then you're good to go. Download for free. Okay. Of course, I will be posting a video where I'll actually use Canva and you can kind of see how I do it as well. Okay. The other one, if you're trying to do infographics, so I have clients and they're all about statistics and things like that. So I use Infogram. Okay, it's infogr.am. Again, that is infogr.am. And of course, I will be posting all of the resource list. I'll be sending it out tomorrow as a resource list for you guys to have of, kind of all of the good places, all the links that I'm providing. Again, that's Infogram. Pinterest. Okay, we're trying to pin, guys. You want to use Pinstomatic or Pinwords. Pinstomatic or Pinwords. Those are two great online tools for you to create good graphics to pin, to create. Of course, the great thing too about Canva is that they even have sizing for Pinterest as well. So I'm telling you, there's just some good things out there. Quotes. Okay, quotes. Of course, I have good apps for quotes. My favorite app that my clients, especially if I've made you an Instagram wallpaper, there's only one app that I swear by for quotes, and that is Instaquote. Instaquote is awesome. However, if you use Instaquote, the great thing about Instaquote is that you should get an Instagram wallpaper. And it doesn't have to be from me. You can create your own. Of course, if you want a custom one, you can contact me. But the thing about Instagram wallpaper, especially if it's been customized, will have your logo on it so that when you do add those quotes, it's kind of just a bonus and it becomes repostable content, which I'm going to talk about next. Also, Recite is really good. I love Recite. Now, here's the cool thing about Recite. With Recite, you type in the quote, you type in the author, and then as you type, it kind of like creates all of these posters in different sizes, and you just click on the one that you want, and then you just download it. Okay, that's the cool thing about Recite. I love Recite. So just go to recite.com, go to Recite, type it in. A great place. Over is an app. Over is an app that I use to add text as well to photos. So whether it's a whether it's a custom wallpaper that I've created, I just kind of want to add small text. I love Over. It's an app that is truly amazing. The last app that I swear by. Now I'm an iPhone user, and so there, when it comes to my iPhone, I need apps that are kind of on the go. Some apps are not offered in the Play Store, which is really not cool. And I use this phone. This is my actual working phone, and then this is my old phone that I had from a while ago. This is my iPhone 4, I know, but it is my baby. And so my iPhone 4. This is kind of what I use like when I connect to Wi-Fi, and it's kind of like what I use for social media. And my app that I swear by for this phone is, of course, Instaquote. PicLab, okay. PicLab is it's like Over. You can add text to it. The cool thing that I like about PicLab though that makes it different than Over is cool, but PicLab kind of has more things going on that you can do with it. Also with PicLab, it gives you kind of some like cooler templates to you. Not really templates, but just tools to use, from like write different filters to they have a better choice of text as well, more text options, and then Over is more like for calligraphy, like type like overlays and like cool quotes and things that are kind of pre-made from their database. So just download those apps and just kind of fool around with them. Now for videos, if you have video content for social media, I love VidLab. VidLab is so good. VidLab is amazing. VidLab is quick and easy. I paid for the extra features to be unlocked, and it's worth it. With VidLab, it's easy to add music, to add text, and because VidLab and PicLab are made from the same owners, they give you the same choice of text, which I like to do because I want to make sure that my font stay the same. So, like for instance, I'll use with Gigi Creates, my main font. My logo font is Sacramento, but Didot is like my main text font that you see a lot throughout my content posting. So of course I had to restart my Instagram account, but really on anything else, even from like my data, like my PDFs that I send out to my clients, you'll see Didot like everywhere. Didot, so you'll see it everywhere. So I want to use that same font, so I have to use an app that has a good amount of fonts for me to have the fonts that are in my logos and things like that. So VidLab is great, okay? Also with VidLab, you're able to kind of edit and do things with your videos so that when you post them to social media, they look a little bit cleaner, okay? Square Ready. So there are some apps that, like let's say you have a client and they send you a widescreen photo. Okay, so they send you a widescreen photo, and you're like, okay, it's not square size for Instagram, or it's not square size for. Of course, it'll fit Facebook, but it won't fit anywhere else. So I use an app, and it's called Square Ready. Okay, and it looks. Hopefully, you guys can see my screen, but it looks like this. And when you look at, hopefully, I can. There we go. Let's see if I can get it to where it's not glowing so darkly, but. It is definitely, my screen is like on the move. But anyway, when you look at Square Ready, it is like a square. Actually, if you go to my Tips by Gigi, I actually shared these apps. So tipsbygigi.blogspot.com, and you'll actually see this kind of app. My screen is going like crazy. But anyway, when you look on the app, what happens is it's free. All you do is hit your album, which of course you will have to have the video saved to your phone first. But when you have the video saved to your phone, you can upload the video, okay? You click on the video, and then it has these kind of questions where it says like, okay, start, stop. So in other words, how long do you want the video to be in the widescreen format? And you just simply, as you can kind of see here, it's kind of glaring, but you can just kind of hit the start and play. Then you just hit the play. The video that I have is playing. And then I kind of hit where I want to start and end it. And then after that, you just hit save. It auto saves to the phone itself. And then you upload the phone. And now it's on a panoramic view. So it has the white spacing at the bottom and the top, but you can change the colors. So that's the cool thing. You can change the colors of the video of the white space. So it can be black. It can be whatever to match, whatever you're trying to do. Okay. Okay. So let's go on. So, we have some more apps. Again, of course, as I go through these things, it is important to know that as you're doing all this, to keep the colors and fonts the same. And your logo placement is very crucial. I see a lot of people, they post all these things, their logo is anywhere to be found, or their name is anywhere to be found. So that really makes your content not really I mean, it's yours, but you haven't put your name on it, which means anyone can take it. And that's the next part right here. How to keep thieves away from your content. I have experienced this several times. I remember one time I posted this post on my personal account about, I think I forgot what it was. It was some post I had posted a while ago. And I found that thing and I saw on all these popular people's pages, they had posted it. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like this is my content. How did it get away from me? Forgot to put my name on it. Forgot. And some people say, okay, well, how do I watermark? I want to watermark, I want to watermark my content. I want to make sure that no one can steal my content. Number one, you need to make sure that you have your logo somewhere in a way where no one can crop it out. So it's very important that when you do your designs, be strategic in the way you do your designs. With watermarking, you want to mess with the opacity. Okay, that's the word you're looking for, opacity or transparency, depending upon how whatever app or client, whatever you're using to create your content. The opacity and the transparency, you want to make sure that, if you're making a graphic, for instance, lighten, you can have your logo in the background and just lighten it a bit and then put the text on top to kind of prevent, so that if someone does steal it, at least you'll know that it's yours somehow. Or even when you do your videos, or not even your videos, but like your images, put your tag, like put your handle. So whether it's Twitter, you're sharing an image on Twitter, whatever, put your handle somewhere that you kind of have to think about how people crop stuff out, because people are wicked. People, so you kind of have to think about, okay, this is really how most people crop stuff. If it's a quote, they're going to crop as close to the text as they can get. So make sure that in that amount of space there, that you have something in that box that if they try to steal, that it will be there. Because that is, I'm telling you, it's something that's just happening. A lot of people find their quotes stolen. But that's the reason why custom imagery works best than just having, text up, because someone can just crop and take it. So try to just think about how important what you post is. See, people, they devalue their own content, so they don't take care of it. But if you really value, the content that you're putting out, especially the work that goes into creating custom content, be mindful of how people think. Hey, some people are not nice. They're going to steal your content. So just think of ways that you can prevent that. Again, watermarking is one. Thinking about how people crop stuff out, making sure that you have something in that small amount of space where people crop it out. Also, like I said before, watermarking. And then two, when you create your custom content, create it in a way too that makes it repostable, so that they will not try to steal it. To create repostable content, and again, this kind of goes into engagement, because that's our next point, which is engagement. So we talked about finding the right platform. We talked about creating content, as far as as far as creating, okay, how do I figure out how much should I post, and then also knowing about what should I post, what shouldn't I post. And we covered creating content, part 2 of the actual tools that we can use to create. Now we're on the engagement. So when it comes to creating repostable, retweeting type content, sharing content on Facebook, repinning content on Pinterest, you want to make sure that your content is not cluttered. Your content, when you post something, make sure that the eye is drawn to the content. That you don't have all this stuff going on in the background, all this stuff kind of, you have all these like text boxes up here, text up here, text down here. Make sure it is as clean as possible. Also, images help you, not kill you. So in other words, if I'm posting something, really important, try to put something, whether it's an image or whether it's like an object, for people to really kind of see. Beautiful graphics do it every time. Clean fonts, clean graphics. Don't get too funky. People, their eyes can barely read it because you got all these calligraphy, things, swirls are everywhere. So now my eyes are like, all over the place. Make it so that it's straightforward content. Make it beautiful, okay? Take time. And the most important thing, people cannot repost something that is not spell checked. I was following someone today, and it was such a good quote, except they spelled their wrong. And they meant to say T-H-E-I-R. They said T-H-E-R-E. So I'm not going to repost that, because I'm not going to take time to edit I can't edit the content because it was, so please spell check. Just take time, because what happened? that person prevented that one great post from being shared. That post had their website link, they had their information on it. That just, it actually did bad. It did more wrong for them than it did good. So it might have been a great post, but I know how I am. I don't repost things that are not correct. Okay, I'm not going to repost it. So if it was great though, it would have. So just spell check your stuff. Also, when you're down, that's the one thing I wanted to say too about Canva. One of Canva's cons, sometimes, it doesn't happen all the time, but it's downloading. Sometimes when you download it, like things get shifted somehow. I don't know how it does it. So when you download, just double check. Like, don't just download and then, like, drag it on your phone and then say, hey, I'm good. Click on the actual image and check to see if it looks like how you designed it. That's just one of the things that Canva is like, it's just really out on. So just double check. And if worst comes to worst, screenshot the image. That's what I do. If it's just, if all else fails, I'm just like, what, I'm just going to screenshot the image. And if you have a Mac, that's where that good Command-Shift-4 comes into play. I take that Command my mouse turns into a click and drag, and there, bam, I have a photo. So, that's what I have to do sometimes because it just doesn't want to agree with me. Okay, so one of the biggest questions that a lot of people had for me was, okay, so, I think I have good content. It's just that people are not responding to my content, which is a huge issue. Okay, so I'm going to give you several tips on how to create engagement. Hopefully you're doing this. If not, try to do it. First thing is this. Are you talking to your audience? Okay. And so that does not mean questions posted in the caption. Questions posted in the graphic. People are like this. I'll tell you. Okay. Double click, like, double click, like, double click, like, double click. That's just how the attention span is. I have been on Instagram and I'll double click something without even reading it. That's how bad I am. So, every now and then, I do read things. But, if I'm, casually on my personal account, double click like, oh, that's cute, double click, oh, that's cute. So they're looking at images. So you want to capitalize on questions, to kind of get them to kind of slow down, read. Okay. Hey, I think I'm going to answer. So the only thing is that, though, when you're creating questions, you have to create questions that are worth people stopping to answer. So I'm going to give you some things that you can do. Again, with the questions, that's great. Let's move on. Giveaways. Keep it as simple as possible. This is another way to create engagement, but keep it as simple as possible. Do not give them where, like, they got to repost this and they got to tag this person, they got to do this and they got to do that. It may, you may want all this engagement, but if you don't keep it simple, it's going to turn into something that you can't handle. Next, highlight your team members. One of the great ways to help with brand awareness, to help with people just getting to know you, is to share you. If it's not just you, share the other people as well. Who are your team members? Who are they? What do they like? Who are, how can I kind of get them? This is, again, the behind the scenes look. Getting people to go past just like, the wall, but getting people to come into your store, to come into your brand, to get to know you. Why should I trust you with my money? Why should I trust you with my time? Why should I trust you, by sharing you to a friend? Okay. The next thing is to highlight special holidays. If there's things coming up, talk about them. Christmas is coming up. You should have Christmas content already made. Do you? I do. I have been working hard enough, thank God, for me to help and move on with my content for Gigi Creates. So just creating special content. The holidays are coming up, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve. It's the new year. So do you have stuff created for that? Making sure that you have things created for the special holidays and not just waiting until the week before. Get that stuff done now, okay? Also, shout out to others in the same field. If you're in, I'm trying to think of, I'm a bakery, okay? I bake cakes, okay? I love to bake cakes. One of the things I can do is shout out other great cake makers, that are just amazing in their field. Share them to other people. You may think that they're trying to, I don't want people to steal my business, or, I don't want people to go to them. No, you have to trust God. If God gave you this gift, don't worry about, because you're not going to post something because you're scared that, people will go to them. Trust in your talent and your abilities, okay? It's great to share about other things that other people are doing, okay? Number one, it highlights that, you're not a person that is just so stuck on you. Okay, but then also it gives people another chance to see, like, oh, hey, this is cool. Like, this person admires that person as well. And also, let's say you tag that person may end up following you. Okay, you don't know how things work, and then you kind of you don't know how things work. But I think it's also great to shout out others in the same field, because then you guys can become comrades, and who knows what can happen. That is just another tip. Number one, the next one, Too many quotes are annoying. I kind of said this in all caps, but it really is. Too many quotes are annoying. Why? I'm not going to follow you. I've actually heard people, other social media gurus, say that they immediately unfollow page. They, let's say, they are following someone, and if they see a page that is completely full of quotes, they're going to unfollow. And that is true. Look, there's only so many quotes a human person can read without going crazy. Not saying that quotes are not a bad thing. I'm just saying diversify your content, okay? Next. Share your favorite products or tools. Hey, if you're in ministry, like for instance, if you're in ministry, share like your favorite Bibles. Like, hey, these are some of the Bibles that I love reading again to the Word of God. Hey, what are yours? Also, if you're in hair, these are some of the favorite hair products that I love to use. If you are, an author, hey, these are some of my favorite blogger tools, when it comes to writing, or, I don't know, don't say like these are my favorite pens. It's like, but use like, hey, these are my favorite books to read, or hey, these are my, think about different things that you can do to kind of get people to kind of get to know you at the same time. What you think about is not every post should be about buy, or join. You want to get people to have a reason to say, you know what, I love this page because when I come on here, I don't feel like I'm bombarded by a billboard. I feel like when I come on here, I'm getting to know someone. It makes them more inclined to buy it, okay? Buy whatever, or to, be a part of whatever you have. Of course, like I said before, books that pertain to your field, jokes. It's fine to have fun every now and then, but you want to make sure that in those jokes that you're creating engagement, and not like, okay, that was really awkward. They just posted that joke because it has nothing to do with your field or has nothing to do with what you're doing. So just make sure that, your jokes, if you're going to have fun, make sure that something that pertains to you. Like I see people all the time that are makeup artists. They post, memes about, funny things about people, when they're getting their makeup done, So it's it relates. Make sure it relates, okay? Next. There should be promotional posts. You should market. You should say, hey, we're having this sale. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, like I said before, you want to make sure how much we had put in percentage. Of course, at 20 to, we said 20 to 30% should again be your own marketing. Tell people about what's going on. I've seen people there, they do either the most or the least. They don't do in between. Okay, you want to do in between, so you don't want to do where you're posting all the time, but you don't want to do when you're not posting at all. So just get enough where people kind of already know what's going on. Again, because you don't want to be that place where people can barely know, okay, is this the account that I think I'm following? Okay. Next, create specific days for engagement. These were just nicknames I came up with. You can use them if you want to. I won't say, oh my gosh, this is what I came up with. These are just things I came up with yesterday. You need to come up with let's say you have a YouTube account, YouTube is it's a social media platform that not a lot of people put in with social media, and I know that even when we looked on there, they'd include YouTube. But YouTube is becoming the next place for video content, live sharing. We know how popular YouTube has been, but now it's starting to change how it's being used. A lot of people, even now, you're tuning into this live class through Google when this is actually a part of YouTube. So it's going to actually, when I get done this class, it will go to my YouTube account, which I will keep private. So, if you want to watch this again, I will be sending out a private link. But, you can, again, this is a platform where there's information being shared. I've had clients use this repeatedly for their own use, whether, like I said before, it's online classes, online talks, even with, Girls of Royalty, which I'm in, with Girls of Royalty, we've used it for Bible studies, weekly content. So you can do that. So table talks, Thursday thanks, Winter Wednesdays. These are corny, but I'm coming up with them just to give you an example. See how I'm picking specific days for engagement so that once a week, there are days where I know that I specifically set it aside for people to be highlighted, for us to talk to people so that people kind of know, what? This is a day where, hey, they do this. On Girls of Royalty, which again, I'm a part of, we do on Sundays is Faith and Fashion, okay? So every Sunday, people know that you can get interactive with us by, showing us your fashion. On, every Thursday, we use GroupMe. So that's when we have our Thursday member chats. There are days that you specifically point to say, this is when we want to get engagement. So do things like that. it's Twitter Talk Tuesdays. These days to get people like, hey, head over to our Twitter on Tuesdays for us to chat about whatever's. So you just want to, that is another way to get engagement. The last thing is my favorite: X or Y questions. This gets it. X questions that make people want to respond. X or Y. If you're in hair. I don't know. So I'm not really a person, that really knows too much about, I'm a hairstylist. But let's say let's go back to the cake thing. That's what I said. I'm a cake person. So I said, what's your favorite type of cake? Vanilla or chocolate? Now, this is extremely basic. I'm not saying you should use an example, but it's one or the other. Okay. So my girlfriend, I said chocolate. Then my other customer says, oh, well, I like vanilla. I like marble. Or I like, you can create X or Y questions, okay? So like if I'm into, I don't know, Remy or Brazilian. I don't know. If you're makeup, here go makeup, MAC or NARS. Like that's a great conversation piece. Or MAC or Bobbi Brown, which one do you prefer? Which brushes do you prefer? Blank or blank? That kind of creates, and why? That kind of creates, I see people post all the time, what's your favorite foundation? These are great conversational tools that gets people talking about what they like. They can contribute their voice. That helps you with your brand, okay? So now it's connecting people. Again, these are indirect ways to make sales or to make things close up. We kind of see it as like, all the time marketing, but, don't get too into that you forget the real purpose of why you came up with your business, or why, if you came out to do this or that, that's what you should be focusing on. Again, that will help you generate those graphics and those ideas and those marketing plans to help your social media go to the next level. Okay, hashtags, do's or don'ts. Someone did bring up a question about hashtags and SEO. So one of the things about hashtags is that, number one, don't go crazy. When it comes to hashtags, people, again, too much, not enough. You need to be in the middle. When it comes to hashtags, you should first have a hashtag for your business. That's really important. For whatever you do, there should be a special hashtag for you. I see people, they tag all these things, let's say, oh my God, I bought these new shoes. Shoe, heel, heels, shoes, red, blue, black, these are all the colors in the shoe. That is just too much. You know what I mean? Like hair, long hair, short hair, big hair, no hair, like it's just after a while, it's just calm yourself down. So when it comes to hashtags, one thing you want to remember is that who are you trying to connect with, okay? Also, you have to remember that the point of you putting these hashtags in there are to kind of draw in other people, okay? But what you also remember is that hashtags can draw in like spam accounts, can draw in, people that are never going to buy your things. So you want to make sure that that you're connected to the good, to the right accounts. I love it when people use hashtags actually within their captions. What I mean by that is actually like within their sentences. Like, let's say I had I love entrepreneur. Now, obviously, shout out to all the entrepreneurs. The entrepreneurs is a hashtag. Go after your hashtag dreams and be hashtag successful. So that is I like that, because that kind of makes it not look so much like the hashtag. I hate that. So kind of, that's a really cool idea. So kind of infusing that into your sentences. Also with hashtags, you want to again find hashtags that fit what you're trying to do, okay? And again, do not go over, don't go overkill. Excuse me. Now, as far as the hashtags, there is a hashtag website that I swear by. It's called RightTag, RITETAG.com, RightTag. And that's really good at just figuring out kind of like what's going on and where to really pick your best hashtags. I think it's just a great website overall. I've used it several times. Again, it's called RightTag, RITETAG.com. Okay. Next. Okay. How do I stay organized? We gotta talk about this, y'all. How do you stay organized? Okay, so I create my content, Canva, Photoshop, PicMonkey, all these kind of different places I created. Okay. I know I kind of got my hashtag ready. I got my questions ready, my giveaway items. I got my, my questions for the week. I kind of got my little engagement posts, things like that. Okay, what do I do now? Keeping yourself organized is going to be the life or death of you, okay? When it comes to having all this content, remember I talked about like it's really great to have to make sure that even out of that content, I think I had said this. You want to make sure that you have at least 50% content that's yours. So your quotes, your sayings, your stuff. When it comes to having all that, it can become really cumbersome because you have all this content. And, if you got to drop the kids off, you got all these kind of little things going on in your life. You got your husband, or you got your wife, your guys. So you got all these different kind of things going on. Just kind of all these things, a household. Just have a lot. So it can become where you just have to kind of set aside time. If you're hopefully, if you're a business owner and if you're, in your brand, you should really have dedicated time to this. And so when you dedicate that time, you want to make the most of that time. And so when that time comes, you want to set aside, and I kind of tell people this all the time, the beginning of the week, that is the time for you to set aside your content for that week. Do not wait until the day of to make content. Here's what you do. If you're even better than that, do the beginning of the month to make all your content. Now that is great. That is actually great. If you even if you can do 2 months ahead, that's even getting better. Of course, that's to generate a lot of content. So again, have all your content set from your reposts to your personalized content to your marketing ads for that week. Have all that stuff ready on Sunday so that Monday through Friday you can just start going. Okay, that's really what you want to do. Have all of that stuff ready, okay? And so the way that you do that is, well, what do I use? I have 4 ones for you to use. Hootsuite, okay? The thing about Hootsuite, though, is that I schedule for like Facebook and things like that. Instagram, it does not help you with, okay? But it can give you an analytics. So Hootsuite is really, really good. HOOT, capital SUITE, Hootsuite, really great. Buffer is the one for IG, Facebook, and Twitter. They can help you, though, with Instagram, which is really, really great. But the one that I really am obsessed with, is Latergram. Okay, Latergram is... Latergram is amazing. It makes me cry. Latergram is amazing. With Latergram is what has changed my whole aspect about Instagram. Okay, sorry. So Buffer is Facebook and Twitter. Sorry, I'm gonna say Latergram. Latergram is amazing. Okay, so I started using Latergram, and with Latergram, it does 2 things. You got to first hook it up on your computer first. Then you have to get the app and you sync it. That's basically how it works. So it's not like you get the thing separately. You get the desktop. You set up on the desktop, and it's going to wait for you to sync it to your phone. Because what it does is you can upload good things. So this is what I do. This is how it keeps it so good. Instead of me having to make sure that all my content is on my phone, I have to upload my phone, I can do it from my computer. And I don't even have to worry about the content being on my phone. So this is how Latergram works. This is why I love it so much. With Latergram, I can upload the content onto the website through Latergram. So I go to latergram.me and I upload my content. Okay, I upload my content, put the captions in and everything, the hashtags, whatever I want to use, and then I drag it to the time and date that I want to put it in. So like 7:30 tomorrow. Next day is 7:30 next day in the morning. After that, the next day, right? And then what it does is I post, so I have it saved, okay? Then at 7:29 or at 7:30, it will pop up on my phone. Okay, it'll pop up on my phone and say, hey, it's time to post. And I slide. Okay, when I slide it, what happens is it automatically brings up the app, and then it's ready to post to Instagram. And I just post it. Now, the thing about Instagram is that Instagram does not allow auto post. In other words, like where you don't even need to post it yourself, like it will automatically post it. Instagram doesn't allow that. So no matter what it's the best thing for it though, because it's already set and all you just have to do is slide and post. So it's already ready. It's not like you have to find the content, get it ready. It's already there. So you can just slide and post. So again, that's Latergram, Latergram.me. Okay. The next one that is just as good is Schedugram. However, I think Latergram is better. But Schedugram, I remember I had tweeted about Latergram, and then Schedugram also said, hey, we're a great one as well. So look how they were interacting with me on Twitter. And also even GroupMe. I love about GroupMe is that, just a quick sidebar with GroupMe is that we, Girls Realty, we use GroupMe, and I think I was tweeting about how good they are, or something like that. They responded back to us. They would say, "Oh, thank you," and then they gave us like a little custom emoji because we're called Girls of Royalty. So they put like a crown on top of like this special emoji for us. And look how great that is. Look how they're interacting with their customers, finding customers that's talking about them. That's really what it's all about. And it made me more happy to use their app. They got a kept customer. So anyway, Schedulegram. Schedulegram was the other one that I'm talking about for Instagram. These are things that you can schedule your tweets, schedule your Facebook posts, and also with Facebook, make sure that you have the Pages Manager if you do have Facebook pages. Just because when it comes to Facebook, you can get easily distracted. I mean, just because it depends on who's your friends. Because you have different types of people on Instagram, it can keep you entertained. But for me, when I know I came in here to get the job done and not come in here to answer messages, kind of play around, I use my Pages Manager. And what Pages Manager is really great is, I manage a lot of pages, but with Pages Manager, it helps me keep track of all the pages that I manage. And not just that, though, is that you can schedule your posts right from the Pages Manager. Of course, you can schedule your posts from your Facebook page on the desktop, but on the go, if I have my content ready, and this is, of course, honestly, I would prefer if I were you, I would use Hootsuite or Buffer. But still, if you're in the Facebook Pages app, because with the Facebook pages, you can get your analytics and, just some of your things, your reaches and people engaged and all that kind of things from the Facebook, from your Pages Manager app. So that is one of the better things about the Pages Manager. And of course, you can pre-schedule them. Okay, so that is really great from your phone. Statistics and analytics. Okay, how do you know if what you're doing is actually working for you? Like, how do I know that what I'm doing, all this work is not in vain? Because that's honestly like that is really, really important, because just kind of just knowing what really what you want to do and how you want to do it, that is just really, really important. So I think one of the biggest things too is that you want to make sure that you have good analytic, good places for you to get your analytics, your statistics from, places that can help you and just are kind of easy to use. My favorite for Instagram is Statagram. Statagram, which actually is now called Iconosquare. Okay, so it's previously known as Statagram. So if you see Statagram mentioned, it's actually now called Iconosquare. So you can go to iconosquare.com. And on Iconosquare, the one thing about Iconosquare that I love is that it doesn't just give you basic, this is how many followers you have, and that it goes into deeper breakdown. So it actually goes into things okay, these are the popular times for you to post on these days. This is when you've had the most engagement on these days. That is really the great thing about Statagram. In Iconosquare. It is really good. It is really, 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 really good. It just gives you a great breakdown so that if you have a team that's, working on Instagram, they can kind of really know what's going right, what's going wrong, what posts were the most, what posts really didn't get so much heat, and what times are we posting and which ones worked best. So you can kind of know when to post. So you don't have to worry about kind of guessing and kind of just doing whatever, but you'll actually kind of have a good grounding on this is what is good. This is kind of what's going on. This kind of, I know, okay, these kind of posts that we've been posting, they're not getting great responses, but these kind of posts, we need to design more posts like this. It kind of helps you with your content, okay? Next, Twitter analytics. If you have Twitter analytics, if you have a Twitter account, Twitter now provides analytics for you, so you don't have to worry about getting an outside source. Of course, there are ones that I will suggest, but Twitter Analytics is really, really good. Okay, for giving you more in depth. Google Analytics, which you should have installed on your websites, does give you a social aspect as well. So now you can integrate those into your Google Analytics. They actually give you, like I said before, a social aspect to look at social accounts. Hootsuite also has analytics. Okay, so that's really good. Again, that's Hootsuite. They also do provide analytics. Okay, they also offer upgraded options if you want to get more in depth into your analytics. But these are very important because this is how you focus on your of course your return on your investment, your ROI. Okay, and also figuring out if what you're doing is working. Okay. Also, if you kind of want to rid your account and kind of clean your account, the Just Unfollow is really good as far as Instagram and different kind of things on Twitter. And they also offer It's called Takeoff. It is it's a way to schedule IG posts. Someone actually brought that to my attention, so I am going to actually do a review. I'm going to try it out, and I'm going to do a review video to kind of give you guys, kind of see, if it really worked and how I liked it. Okay. Next is ROI, your return on your investment. For many of you, you want to figure out, okay, is this even worth what I'm doing? Of course, you will know that from your statistics, but that's not, your statistics aren't really going to help you if you don't have goals. So I have a 4-step plan. Number one, you need to set your goals, okay? When it comes to ROI, set your goals to know if this is actually working. Number two, monitor your statistics. There's no point in you knowing your statistics if you're not going to look at them. Look at your statistics. Look at what's going on. See if what's going on is actually working. Do you need to change it up? I mean, you do need to have video content. So maybe, from you got your videos. Now from your regular post to video content. How much are you sharing about, your blogs on Facebook? Sharing your blog posts, other links. You should be really diversifying your content. Okay. Next is, after you monitor your statistics, record your statistics. Have a book. Of course, with my branding clients, I give them a branding book where they can actually write down the actual statistics. That's really important. The last one is to review and to renew your goals. So after I've kind of looked at what's working, what isn't working, I reset my goals back up. So, okay, for this month, I really want to get this many likes from Facebook. I'm going to get this as far as percentage, this much engagement from Facebook. From Twitter, I want this much. I want this many new followers. I want, you kind of have to set your goals so that you know what to do and how you're hitting them, okay? When you do that, you will really see if what you're doing is working. The only way you will know it is if you write it down, you have a plan, and you see if you can stick to the plan, okay? But if you don't do that, then there's really no point in you just doing all this. There's no point in you creating custom content. There's no point in you doing all this, because your goal to even do all these things is to really gain more exposure to your brand, to your business, and to really figure out if, again, what you're doing is actually working, okay? Next. Okay, as I said before, as we come to the end, really, social media is just one part. Social media is just one part of branding and marketing. There is just so much besides social media, okay? But you have to realize how significant social media is at the same time. In today's age, it's all about the tech. It's all about the phones. It's all about, people connecting in a faster way. People are getting more impatient. They want things now. They want to view things now. They want to have access to things now. So you just want to make sure that you realize that even though social media is just one part of your business, it is an integral part. It's a way for you to gain more visitors, to gain more followers for free. In the past, you had to really put in a lot more money, a lot more effort to gain followers, to gain people, but it's also easier to lose them now because just how people are, how quickly things change. So it's very important, again, that the social media, even though it's just one part of branding, even though it's just one part of marketing, and it's a very important part. And if you can use it effectively, it will yield you amazing results. Use it ineffectively, it will draw away from your brand. People will look at you like, this person isn't doing what they said, or this person is, it's I'll put like this, word of mouth spreads really quickly through social media. So it will make people think twice about, putting their money into you, putting their effort into you. Okay. Now, of course, there were some questions, and so I really want to get into the questions now because it's the Q&A session part. Again, next week we'll be talking about print materials and graphics 101. I'll be taking you guys into some of the free tools that I mentioned, and kind of showing you guys how to use them. And so again, that's next week. I'll be showing you how to do transparency, showing you how to, customize and put the watermarks on your graphics and different things like that. Okay. And again, that's free, and that's next Monday. So today is the 8th, so next Monday, okay? And again, that's the 15th, and that's when we'll go into the next thing. But I do want to actually answer some of these questions, okay? Now, hopefully, I answered as many questions, hopefully I answered most of the questions that were there. But I do want to answer, some of the questions that I was not able to answer from just the basic outline that I went through, because I do want to make sure, again, that, people are getting the knowledge. Questions that someone had was about SEO, and when it comes to SEO, I think one of the things that people kind of not really misconstrue, but when it comes to SEO, again, when people, who are basic, and maybe, you don't really kind of understand what that is, it's search engine optimization, was really what the person was asking about, which is actually a great question, that, and, all the other things, what does that have to do? How am I going to be able to do it? And, oh, wow, a lot of people added to the class. But one of the things I would say, too, when it comes to that, is that you want to make sure, number one, that your website, whatever your website is that it has social media sharing buttons automatically. That's really essential. You want to make sure that all of your content is easily shareable to social media. Okay, that's the first thing. Social media is about the buzz. And social media isn't also, it's a couple things. Social media isn't, search engine optimization isn't always about Google. It's about Bing. It's about, it's about Ask. It's about different places just besides, Yahoo is just besides Google. So you want to make sure that when it comes to your SEO and how it relates to social media, a lot of people say, does social media impact SEO? Yes or no? Google doesn't really bring in social media as a heavily based turn point to how your rankings are. But so you have to remember with this is that social media is about how many people are accessing, sharing your content from your website, from your blog, or from your video that was posted. So the best thing to do is just to make sure that your content, again, is easily accessible. Okay, it's easily accessible. You want to make sure that you can easily get to that content, that you can easily, and people can easily share it. Okay, so that means that you really have to focus on making sure that it's good content. So that's how it relates to really the social media aspect. But, and also too, nowadays too, the way that social media works, that even when you type in people's names and you type in certain things, people's social media accounts are coming up. So we just want to make sure that there's good content. The better the content is, the more shareable it is, which means the more it will, the more social media will actually have a influence on SEO. But a lot of people, it's like a hit or miss. Some people say yes. People say, a lot of people who heavy marketers, they say no, it doesn't affect at all, But I do believe that it does, because again, it's about the buzz. When it looks at SEO, it's the blogs that have the most shares, blogs that have the most visits, So that's really what it's about. Because I've looked at articles and there'll be like no comments. I'm like, how did this even come up at the top? But it was shared the most. Also the content, SEO back then, and really a couple of years ago, used to be all about like the actual words in the article. So like if it had this word this many times, it would come up more. Now it's all about the buzz. It's about how many shares you can get, how many Twitter shares you can get, and how many, okay, this person tweeted that, which tweeted that, and then, a blogger saw it and they reposted that content onto their blog. So that it's really just about good content and seeing if you can create good content. Also to evergreen content. That's what also helps you have good and amazing SEO, is having evergreen content. Evergreen content is content that you create on your blog, on your website, that lasts no matter what season it is. For instance, some people, they create content that's like, okay, for instance, best makeup products of April 2013. It's not evergreen content, because number one, you specified it for April 2013. But if you can write things about, just different things that will last no matter what season it is, then that's really great, because that's content that can always be shared over, no matter how old it is, can always be shared over and over again, because it's not a specific date, a specific season or year that it's tied to. So it can always be shared. For instance, I was looking at something for social media when I first, way back a couple months ago, and it was we're in 2012. It was at the top. It's still the top. So it just shows on how that stuff works, okay? Again, they also asked about the hashtags, but again, that goes back to right tag, that I really suggest to kind of just figuring out which hashtags work. And then also, like I say to people all the time, social media, you really have to try for yourself. No matter how many tips I give, again, I would definitely go look up the apps that I gave and all the desktop solutions and the online tools. You definitely need to use those. But I would say too, is that for a lot of people, you really have to get in there and just work. You have to just try to apply all that you've learned and just try to work it. It's not one of those things about just trying to again just doing all this stuff. It's not working. You just want to make sure too that whatever you do, you want to make sure that it's strategic. that you have a plan, you're not all over the place. You just want to make sure that you are a smart person when it comes to social media. Okay. Now, someone had a question about how do I successfully run all social media sites successfully without being overkill? What content should I put out daily to attract the masses without seeming contradicting because I repeat motivational, I guess, or repost motivational, inspirational speaking as well as music? How, oh, wait, oh guys, I'm going to make sure that I can say this right. Okay, how do I guess it just stop right there. So how do I successfully run all social media sites again successfully without being overkill? What content should I put out daily to attract the masses without seeming contradicting? Goes back to what I was talking about the scheduling apps. You're going to make sure that you're using the right scheduling apps, which I did suggest. And then go back to those. My scheduling apps were Hootsuite for Facebook and Twitter, things like that. A lot of other ones too. Buffer, Latergram, and Schedulegram. Okay, those are the ones that you can really use, and they'll help with Pinterest as well to kind of help you maintain your content. Hopefully that will help you with not being overkill. I would also say you don't have to be everywhere. Okay, don't overkill yourself, especially if you're just by yourself. Stick to I would say 1 or 2 social media accounts and do it for you. And if you do 3, you need to have a team. Or if you do 3 by yourself, you need to make sure that you are scheduling all your posts. You never do things off the cuff. Always schedule if you're going to be, especially if you're just by yourself. What content should I put out daily to attract the masses without seeming contradicting because I repost motivational, inspirational speaking as well as music? Let's see, I kind of have to know exactly like what you do, like what type of business, because if you're saying that like, what you post on the side contradicts what you're doing, then I hope I understand your question right. But if that's the case, if you're saying that like, if basically you're posting 2 different things that contradict yourself, you probably should have 2 different accounts. Okay. So like, and that's the one thing too, when it comes to, if you have a business and if your business is not you, like you're not an inspirational speaker, author, you have a separate account. Yeah, you definitely should have a separate account. I'm just saying, you don't have to, but I would definitely say you need to have a separate account, especially if they're going to be contradicting themselves, and if that's not what you meant, hopefully, you can email me through my website and so I can get a better answer. But when it comes out to just what type of content, goes back to the rule, like I said before, 20 to 30 of, marketing of you, 10% of repost content, 10 to 20 maybe of repost content. 50% though should pretty much be though your stuff. So your quotes, your questions, your engagement content, videos, just ways to get people talking. Okay. Now, if you can try to make 100% of the content yours, that would be awesome. But it is great, I think, to also repost other people's content. So I would say, it is always good to do that. Okay. Okay. The next question that someone had, which guys, okay, there we go. I'm gonna make sure I just answer these questions. Okay. The next question that someone had is, okay, what is the best way to reach large amounts of people without hashtags? How can I keep my pages relevant? How often should I post and update throughout the day? Oh, that's a good one too. How much should I post and update throughout the day? That's a good question. Okay, so what is the best way to reach large amounts of people without hashtags? You want to make sure that you have good content, honestly, repostable content. So that's like quotes, things like that people can repost, making sure that it's clear and to the point and concise. That's a great way to have repostable content. Also, I would say, let's see, post. How many times should people post throughout the day? I would say morning, lunch, dinner at least. So at least 3 times a day. When I hit them in the morning, okay, him in the morning, 7 to 9 is like when people are getting up, we're ready for work. Not too early though, not too early. Okay, but you kind of want people when the masses are getting up, not the grinders. Us late night. We get up at 6, or I barely get up at 6. But don't do that. I would say 7 to 9 is morning time, okay? Not too late, because then you're going to miss the morning and you're going to have to wait till like around lunchtime. So I would say morning, at least morning, around lunch, late lunch for people. And then, when people are getting home and kind of doing their things, like when they're kind of relaxing. And then squeeze in a late night one as well. So at least 3 to 4. Now, if you can get more, that's fine. If you have more time to do that, that's fine. But do not post. I would say try to post a minimum of at least 4 times a day. And then do not post. I would say, like, when it comes to your how much you should be posting, you really want to limit it to where it's like every 2 to 3 hours. Excuse me. So if you're doing every 2 to 3 hours, you kind of have to think about, if I'm doing every 2 to 3 hours and I have 24 hours in a day, that means I'm trying like between 12. You're looking at 12 max posts. So 12 posts max. Okay. And that's kind of me. It's a lot. So I would try to limit it down to like 6 or 7, that's kind of, I think that's a really good, around 6 or 7, not too much though. Okay. But again, if you're one of those businesses though, that's like, where like you're like clothing or things like that, then, I would probably lean towards more, if you have like actual products, if you're like more like a ministry speaker, author, not too much, unless it's like, you have that much time. But, I kind of think of like even people, you don't want to overkill them too much. So even with your content, just be smart, not too much, not too little. So I would say between 6 to 7, you can go up to 10. But I think like, 14, 12 should be your max per day. That's a lot of content, especially if it's like customized content. I don't think you need that much content. Okay. But I was just trying to keep it just, enough, but not too much. Okay. To keep your page relevant, look at what's going on around in society as well. That's a great time. You look at what's going on in the country, look at what's going around, and even in your brand, and even in your category. Like, so if you're in a fashion, if you're in a clothing, what's going on trend wise? What's going on in fashion? Who's wearing what? How are they wearing it? Keep that stuff out. Kind of, look kind of like what people are wearing. Highlight people's fashion. If you're into fashion, highlight people's fashion. If you're into makeup, highlight people's makeup. Kind of get the really diversified again in your content. It's very important. Okay. And then too, like, just reaching more people without hashtags. You kind of want to spread the. I mean, it's kind of a hard thing, but if you're talking about without hashtags, make your own hashtag. Excuse me, guys, but make your own hashtag. You're gonna make your own hashtag, and all the things too is like, find people's hashtags like fashion, clothing. Just cool things for you to kind of get interactive with them as well. Try to use even if you try to not use any hashtags, try to use like a few, just a small amount, just to see if it brings back something. Whether it's depending on what you're trying to do, PR, marketing, consulting, clothing, jewelry design. Just try to find cool hashtags, small amount, for you to kind of get interactive with your base, with the people you're trying to reach. Okay. Hopefully I was able to answer a few, but I do think that it's just very important that when it does come to different things that, you try to create a niche, even in your branding and your social media marketing, that you try to create special, beautiful posts that when people see that, like, oh my God, I want to repost that. It looks so amazing. Repost, or it's like a great post, something that really draws in people. Okay. Okay. Next, let's see what else we have. Last comments. Last question. Creating flyers for posting, easiest social media scheduling. Creating flyers for posting, again, Canva, and easiest social media scheduling tactics. Again, the beginning of the week, post your content. Okay. In other words, not post, but schedule your content the beginning of the week. Okay. That is just like instrumental. Schedule your content the beginning of the week, and then run that stuff through, and do it another week. If you can be even more, where you can kind of like get like a couple of weeks worth, then that's even better. Okay, like that's going to be even better, because you're going to be able to have like more time for you to be more creative with your content. I think that it's just really hard, when you kind of like are not prepared. It makes your content scattered. It really does. It makes your content all over the place, extremely scattered, and it just, at that point, sometimes you'll end up reposting stuff that you really don't need to be reposting, so even with your repost, you want to make sure that your reposts are reflective of who you are as a brand, okay? Who you are as a company, making sure that everything fits who you are. You don't want to confuse people too. Like, and that's one last thing I definitely want to say. You don't want to be like one person on Facebook, then another person on Twitter, then another person on Instagram, then another person on your LinkedIn, then another person on your Pinterest. All the brands should be cohesive, the same look, same color, same fonts, all the same types of postings, and again, too, the same thing I was saying before, you don't post the same content on every single platform. So like my Twitter content should be different than my Instagram content, which should be different than my Facebook content, which should be different than my Pinterest content. And you have to learn how to diversify. That comes through too discipline, because you don't want to get lazy too. I don't post the same image everywhere. Well, then why should I follow you on Twitter? I can just follow you on Instagram for the same type of content. But if I follow you on Twitter because you post like great article links on how to do certain things, then you know what? I'm going to go there. Blog links, I'm going to go there. You go on Facebook to post cool infographics or just, tips and updates on different things. I'm going to go there. Just different things. You have to know what each social media platform is for and then use it to your advantage. But don't treat every social media platform the same, because they don't operate the same. They don't have the same demographics, same types of people. It's different. So you have to know that, okay? And the last part is this as we end. Of course, if you have any other tips, if there are some other things that you would love to share, I would love for you to share them. And the way that I would love for you to share them is to go to GigiCreates.com and then go into forum. So GigiCreates.com/forum. And that's where I've put up a forum for us to talk and just for to post things. That's where I'll be posting even the different links to different articles for you guys to read about branding, about social media marketing, about social media engagement. I'll be posting things throughout this week, because this week it's Monday. So even on my Instagram, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be focusing on creating content. So all this week, as you follow me on social media, you will see different questions, different articles, different things that are all about content, how to create content. Okay, so how do you stay connected? Well, go to GigiCreates.com/forum and you can log in. And you don't have to create, you can just log in you can log into Facebook, Google, different things, and then you can just post, your answers and your content. And this gives us a way to interact with one another so that we can, learn more. So if you want someone to say, hey guys, what do you think about this content I created? What are your thoughts? Then we can talk amongst each other. But this gives us a great way to continue the conversation after class. If there were things that you missed, if there were some questions that you still have, maybe, your other classmates can help you figure out, what to use or what to do, then I want us to be able to do that. Also, you can introduce yourself as a business owner, tell us about who you are, where you are, and also, your links, so if you want us to connect with you on social media, then that's a great way to do it as well. Okay. Well, anyway, I hope you guys had a great a learning experiment as far as, even in this classroom. I hope that you were able to get this content. This is really important that that, social media isn't just social media. It's bigger than that. It's greater than that. There are so many things that you can do. With Girls Royalty, we really grew because of Instagram. Instagram grew us from where we were only about, I would say, with 100-something members, and we grew up to having over 600. And Instagram was our number one provider for that. So Instagram definitely does its tricks. Twitter does its tricks. I have met great people from Twitter. So it's different places. Facebook pages help you answer quick questions for clients, help you, post great reviews, things like that. So you don't really know how good things are until you just try it. Try it, dabble, but remember, do not stretch yourself too thin. Commit yourself to something. Get in there and create custom content. Put your logos on everything, guys, or watermarks and everything. I'm going to teach you how to do it. But just even if you go to my Instagram page, you're going to see where my little girl, which is, she's my Gigi Creates. That's my little image. You see her everywhere on all of my posts, even in my slideshows that I was doing. I made sure that my little girl in the white or in the black, whatever color I have her in, she's everywhere. And as you see that girl, you're going to see Gigi Creates. Why? Because she's in my logo. She's in here. She's in there. She's on my website. You see the little girl, and after a while, you're going to see, okay, that's her content. That's Gigi Creates content. So if I create wallpaper, I put that little girl somewhere, Gigi Creates, that's Gigi Creates. Making sure you're creating content specified for you. Now, the one bonus I do want to add for the people that are still remaining is, how do you keep all that content on your phone? How do I keep up? Because with Instagram, the thing about Instagram is you have to have videos. And how do you keep yourself, do I have to say that all to my camera roll? How does that work? And two things that I would suggest are cloud-based services, which are Google Drive and Dropbox. These are great. These are great apps that you can also have on your phone that you can save your files to through a cloud system. So this is an online web system, that you can also access on your phone. This helps you not have all those images saved to your phone. So your phone doesn't, you have your own personal photos, but it helps organize things too. So what I do is, for instance, all this week, I have created special biblical confessions, and this is actually going to be every Friday, the same confession, because I think that's how we should do it, right? Same word of God being in our spirits. So what I did was I saved all my confessions in my Dropbox folder for Gigi Creates. It's already done. Don't have to worry about tomorrow because it's already done. Don't have to worry about Tuesday. It's already done. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. It's already done. Don't even have to worry about it. That's the great thing. It's saved in Dropbox though, so I don't even have to worry about all that space filling up my personal space on my phone. It's in Dropbox. So you try to use Dropbox, save your files directly into your Dropbox, and try to use that to save your content so that it's not filling up all of your space, okay? But anyway, I hope that you're able to learn something. If you have any questions, go to my website, gigicreates.com. Fill out a form, fill out a contact form, hit me up, and I'll be sure to respond back to you, okay? But I want you guys to have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you guys later, okay? Bye.